Hi, Dan here. Hope you're doing really well. Today I'm going to show you how to map out intervals on the bass and link them to famous tunes. Now, intervals are found all the time in bass lines, and if you can learn how to do this, then it becomes very easy to figure out bass lines by ear. And that's one thing I really urge you to do. It's just listen to your favorite bass lines, try and pick them out and be able to play them. And this lesson will help you because just a quick theory lesson. You've got a scale. A scale is built up of a load of intervals, and from a scale comes a triad, arpeggio and chord, and all of those elements make up all music. So if you can learn to hear the intervals, then you're really in business. So let's start. As we go, I'll probably dive around a little bit into some ways that you can use this, but the first note, I'm just going to pick arbitrarily just a G, 3rd fret of the E string. An interval is just simply the distance between two musical pitches, between two notes. So the smallest possible distance where we'll start is basically the 3rd fret to the 4th fret. It's called a minor second, and Jaws is the theme tune to really listen out for that. There's a mode called the Phrygian mode, and it has a minor second straight up. I'll just show you that as we go. So frets 3, 4 and 6 on the E string, and then 3, 5, 6, and then 3, 5. It's a Justin Timberlake song. You can hear that minor second at play there. Chances are that if you hear that, you might be hearing this Phrygian mode. It's a Dream Theater riff that sounds a bit like that. It's very distinctive. It's quite dark sounding as well. Okay, so Jaws, that's the one for that. So we're just going to go from the G up a semitone each time for the new interval. So this is a major second, 3rd fret to 5th fret. And it does happen to be the second note of the major scale as well. Now, intervals are so named from scales, so it does help that you know at least a major and a minor scale, and then naming them becomes a double if you know that. So G to A, fret 3 to 5. Notice that the distance between a major and a minor interval is 1 fret. You can turn any major interval into a minor by going down 1 fret and vice versa. Okay, so Dreams by Fleetwood Mac. It's a great bass line. I don't think it's in this key. It's a great bass line that starts verse, chorus, and it just goes. That's the sound of a major second. If you can get that into your head, you can hear that. Really know how to hum or sing a major and a natural minor scale just when you're walking down the street. So if you hear that, oh, that's the second note of a major scale, that's a major second, okay, and then you can play that. That's that pattern. I'm going to carry on. So after the major second, so if we go, for example, from the 3rd fret G to the 6th fret of the E string, that's a minor third. It's the 3rd note of a natural minor scale. And it's the first 2 notes of Smoke on the Water. You can also play any interval, usually in at least two different places. 6th fret, that's 1st fret A string. If you hear a rock riff, usually rock riffs minor pentatonic. If you hear that sound, that's the first bit of Smoke on the Water. You're hearing a minor third. Put that up a fret. Remember when I said go to minor to major? We've got a major third. Now, I've never seen The Sound of Music, and I don't really have too many aspirations to watch it, but do you know that song, Doe a Deer, a Female Deer? That's a major third, okay? If I skip ahead a little bit and do, so I've got a root, a major third, a 5th, just the 5th note of a major scale, called a perfect 5th, so I do that, root, 3rd, 5th. I should say major third, shouldn't I? Look, if I say third, do I mean major or minor? So you should be quite specific. root, major third, perfect fifth octave. Starts on the fifth, you've got the American National Anthem, to the major third, and then back up. So if you learn that, you're hearing the notes of an arpeggio. I skipped ahead a little bit there. So we've done the major third. One up from there, we've got a perfect fourth. That's just the fourth note in a major scale. Actually, those four notes spell out the first bit of the Addams Family theme tune. This is a very niche British comedy reference, but there was a series called Blackadder, which was really great. And the first bit of the theme tune, it was called Blackadder Goes Fourth, actually, and that's how you remember this fourth. That's how I was taught as a kid. So I mapped that out. So when I hear that, I can hear a fourth now. Here's another one, just sprung into my head now. Can You Feel It by Jackson 5. Up one from that perfect fourth, we have a sharp 4 or a flat 5. If you go down from the 5, it's flat 5. Up from a 4, it's a sharp 4. And it'll be placed in scales in slightly different ways. That's why you need to know that. So that's otherwise called tritone, because it's 3 tones. The way I learned this is the first bit of The Simpsons, you know? And that is a really, really great interval. You find that interval a couple of places. The first is in a Lydian mode, which is like a major scale with a sharpened fourth. And that's the melody that The Simpsons comes from, is Lydian. Going back to that Dreams by Fleetwood Mac bass. He doesn't play that, but it's built on the Lydian to the Mixolydian. Okay, I'm going far too ahead of myself there. Just forget everything I just said if you didn't understand. Doesn't matter. So that would be where you would find a sharp 4. Now, flat 5. Hear that a lot. So remember that minor pentatonic scale? G minor, for example. The fifth is on the 5th fret of the A string. Flatten that. That really classic blues sound, okay? That's a very, very common sound. You'll hear that a lot. Going back to Smoke on the Water. That note there is a flat 5. Very distinctive sound, so that's quite a good one to hear. Up one from there, you've got a perfect fifth. Now, a fifth, a root and a fifth, it's used so much in bass playing, whether it's, you know, country music or, you know, Latin. That's a really important one to know. So again, it's just the 5th note in a minor or a major scale, actually. And in terms of a tune that you might map to this, Star Wars is a good one, the Star Wars theme tune. And that was written by John Williams, the famous film composer, and he loved fifths. And this is just me thinking of this off the top of my head, but I mean, how simple can you get? This will date me, but I don't know how many Superman movies there are now, but these are the ones from the 70s and 80s that I'm doing now. So, starts on a 5th. 5th, root 5th. Really strong sound. So that's how you find a 5th. An octave. That's what the guitar line does. It's very distinctive. It's the sound of a 5th. So you're going to hear that in particular a lot in bass lines, which are made up of arpeggios and triads like I just played. That's roots, thirds and fifths, so you're going to hear that. So next up we have a flat 6 or a minor 6, and that's just the 6th note of a minor scale. So remember what I said before, if you know the scale you can find the interval easily. So 6 notes up, You've got this distinctive pattern. There's the 3rd fret of the E string, 6th fret of the A string. You've got your flat 6. Now this is nothing to do with a bass line, but Yeah by Usher features a synthesizer line that goes like this, which is root 5, root minor 6. Used a lot in kind of rock riffs. It sounds quite dark. I'll just break away now to show you how you might do this. So I'm going 3rd finger on the 10th fret, that's the G again. And I'm playing it, the minor 6 slightly differently. I'm playing it 1st finger on the 8th fret of the G string. This is how you might start to piece together some chords. That sounds quite dark. All I was doing there, actually I'm moving 2nd finger onto that G so I can use my little finger on the 12th fret of the D. That's the perfect fit. It's a nice sounding chord. Remember, going from minor to major, just go up 1 fret, so the next is a major 6. And this is used a lot in old school soul, in major pentatonic line. But Knock on Wood by Eddie Floyd, Duck Dunn played this line. Those first 2 notes, that's a major 6. Very bright, happy sound. Notice I'm playing the G with my 2nd finger and the 1st finger on that 6th, because 6th note the major scale. But you can play it there or here. You should know different locations. That works really well for that major pentatonic scale. This is one of the first intervals I ever learned, minor 7th, so 1 up from that major 6th, so 3rd fret of the D string. So I learnt this bass line, Transcending by Red Hot Chili Peppers. It's the root to the minor 7th, a very distinctive sound there. And that interval, it's used so much. Now we can start to piece together intervals into bass lines. Root, 5th, minor 7th, octave. See how Billie Jean contains all those? I just put a 4th in there as well. Now it gets to the point where you can hear a bass line, and even without your bass anywhere near you, you can hear it going from a root to an octave to a minor 7th. So 1 up from the minor 7th, you get a major 7th. It sounds not very nice together. Well, if you stick in a 5th, it sort of balances things out. A major 7th chord. There's Nothing Like This by Omar, that really great bass line. There's that major 7th there. And it's a minor 2nd away. Remember we had that minor 2nd first time? From the octave. Get a bit of tension there. Adding intervals into your playing is one way of adding tension into your lines. Octave, final interval that I'm going to do. My Sharona by the Knack, that's quite a common one. Also, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Very, very common interval there. I would say the most common are your roots, octaves, 5th, and 3rd. The difference between a standard major and minor arpeggio is just the 3rd. It's major in a major and minor in a minor arpeggio. And these sounds become very strong once you learn them. And really all this lesson is about is mapping a sound to a pattern, or more than one pattern really, because you'll find more than one pattern on the bass for the same thing. So this is just a bit of a whistle-stop tour for intervals. There's so many things that you can do with them, and I'll do more lessons on that. In fact, I've done more lessons on that, so make sure you check out the channel. Do subscribe, because I do at least 2 lessons every week. But if I've missed anything out, or you have any questions, put it in the comments and I'll always get back to you. I can always do another video as well, just to sort of expand on this a bit. But one of your greatest abilities as a bass player, as a musician, is your ears, is to figure stuff out yourself. And I think it's really, really important. I'm going to be doing loads more lessons on that, how to transcribe, how to work out bass lines, how to hear music. Because once you can trust your ears, once you can rely on them, all the answers that you want are within the great bass lines that you want to play. And if you can rely less on people like me or tab sites and just completely on yourself and your own ear, you will find yourself progressing so much better. And that all comes down to working on your ear, and intervals play a big part in that. So I hope you got something from that lesson. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.